Hi, I'm Lydia Moynihan.
And I'm Matthew Sheffield.
Welcome back from spring break.
And welcome to the Weekly Bowl, where we're giving you the latest school news.
In this week's episode, we're updating you on House Exec Team elections,
how a man who argued in front of the Supreme Court is coming to Kings,
what's buzzing in Brooklyn,
and how students are taking a 10-day trip to Israel this summer for only $500, and more.
First, reporter Isabel McCauley gives us the deets on what's been happening in House elections.
As we reach the end of our spring semester here at Kings, we begin the process of electing next year's exec teams. This year, the president, chamberlain, helmsman, and scholar of each of the 10 King's houses worked tirelessly to continue the tradition of community and fellowship within the house system. Now they prepare to release their house into the hands of new leaders. The house of Susan B. Anthony was led by Chelsea, Julia, Elizabeth, and Stephanie this year. Meet SBA's new exec team. Stephanie Palski as president, Damaris Perry as chamberlain, Kara Simmons, helmsman, and Natalie Hestek as scholar. The house of Claire Barton was led by Audrey, Addie, Emily, and Allie. Barton's newly elected exec team is Allie Zeminski serving president, Maddie Morona as chamberlain, Emily Stanborn as helmsman, and Caitlin Gonzalez as scholar. This year, the house of C.S. Lewis was led by Fisher, Stewart, Luke, and Joffrey. Their new exec team this coming year will be Stuart Clay as president, Kyle Kendrick chamberlain, Tyler Cochran as helmsman, and Andrew Hepler as scholar. The house of Margaret Thatcher was led this year by Helen, Gabrielle, Kea, and Catherine. Introducing next year's exec team, Gabrielle Vickers as president, Chelsea Haynes as chamberlain, Sammy McClish as helmsman, and finally, Elle Rogers as scholar. Tune in next week to welcome the new execs in the house of Ten Boom, Truth, Churchill, Reagan, Huey 1, and Bonhoeffer.
St. Patrick's Day celebrations are big in New York City, a city where 13% of inhabitants are of Irish descent. And now a bill has passed the state senate that wants to make St. Patrick's Day a school holiday. This St. Patrick's Day law was introduced after Chinese New Year and after 2 Muslim holidays were added to the school calendar. The legislation must be passed by the state assembly in order to become law.
For years, students at Kings have studied constitutional law, but now they have the chance to get to know Mark W. Smith, a man who's actually argued in front of the Supreme Court. He's represented clients including Goldman Sachs, AIG, and the U.S. Trust Bank. One of his most famed cases even landed him a story on the front cover of the New York Times. A true Renaissance man, he's written 4 New York Times bestsellers and is even a Broadway Tony Awards voter. He is, quote, delighted to join the college in this new role as presidential scholar and senior fellow in law and public policy.
On the day of fasting and prayer, students, faculty, and staff gathered in the city room at noon to hear from Dr. Johnson and to pray for specific prayer intentions, including graduating seniors, next year's freshmen, King's faculty, and school finances. The day concluded with corporate worship at Refuge.
Up next, 40 lucky King's students will get to visit the Holy Land this summer on a trip led by Drs. Thornbury and Johnson. Reporter Elizabeth Kaufman gives us the story.
Hey guys, I'm Elizabeth. We will be talking about the Israel trip. What are some things that you're excited about as you're going out in May to go on this trip?
But it's always fun to take people who have not been there before. Walking around the old city, especially when you go to the city of David, and you can just stand where David approximately would have stood, and you can look down on the roofs and say, oh, okay, this is how David was able to see Bathsheba on her roof. It's because the hill naturally slopes away, and you see people's eyes go, oh. So it's very fun to watch people have that aha moment where they get it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You said you've been there before. As you're going back, are there any specific places that you're excited to show students? Any specific one place in particular?
Well, always where the good falafel is. Yeah, the city of David, Gehenna, where hell comes from, because people are always pleasantly surprised how nice hell is. The old city, those are all fun places. Up in the north, to show them where Jesus comes from, Tiberias, Galilee, Nazareth, these places that you have these pictures in your head that come from film that aren't always accurate. So to see the actual landscapes that Jesus is walking through and the disciples are walking through.
Well, this trip was made very affordable for the students that are going. Could you tell us a little bit about how that came about and what you're looking forward to as this is becoming a new opportunity for students?
Sure. This all comes about through a program that the Green family have been doing called Covenant Journeys. And it gives college students the access to a trip to Israel. The Green family has also worked in close concert with an organization that I'm well familiar with and friends with called the Philos Project. Here's really sort of the unique genius of these two things, and it ties to a broader project that the Green family is doing, because in Washington, D.C., they are, of course, building the Museum of the Bible, which is going to be a way to reset the Bible's influence in culture. But the other thing, and I think this is the thing that's particularly Kingsian about this trip, is the other thing that you learn about is the modern state of Israel. And people that go to Israel fall in love with it, and then you'll want to go back as many times as you can and as often as you can.
Congratulations to the new Mr. TKC, Michael Martinez, who was crowned on Tuesday. He is succeeding last year's victor, Spencer Cashmanian.
With so many incredible professors at King's, it's disappointing we are so often confined to classes in our major. But now you can hear mini lectures from any King's faculty. Lecture topics include Leviticus, ancient Egypt, King Cyrus, and the role humility played in the life of Journalism Institute namesake, John McClandish Phillips. Check out the King's College YouTube page to watch these minute-long videos.
Finally, new reporter Anna Ramos tells us about Hotspot, syndicated in Brooklyn.
King students, do you hate not being allowed to bring food into a movie theater? Feel guilty for doing it anyway? There's a new hotspot in town that lets you dine and watch guilt-free. Bushwick's recently opened college-friendly movie theater called Syndicated is a 3-in-1 movie theater, bar, and restaurant, and is here to provide students with a great place to spend downtime. The theater, which opened in mid-January, includes a full dine-in menu selection ranging from $3 to $15. Grilled Mojo skewers are my personal recommendation. Tickets can now be purchased online or in person at the front desk. Just $3 for one showing and $5 for double features. If you ever find yourself at a sold-out showing like I did, you can wait on standby for 10 minutes. After the movie starts, given the availability, you may be seated for free. Syndicated is located at 40 Bogart Street, Brooklyn. For hours and a full calendar of showings, visit their website at syndicatedbk.com.
Make sure to check out this week's Empire State Tribune. Articles discuss hidden gems on Netflix,
Upcoming concerts,
faculty and council news.
and the methodology of course creation at King's.
Thanks to our team here at the Weekly Bowl for making this week's episode possible. And thank you for watching.
Have a blessed Easter weekend and keep up with the Weekly Bowl to get the scoop at school. We'll see you next week.